allow people to live the way that they want to. I don't want to be part of a game of 35 years mortgage. I don't want to be part of that. This is the Black Ship, my shipping container house. Welcome to the Black Ship.
Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're in Ireland, meeting up with Fellipe.
He lives in a shipping container and it is so cool on the inside, so definitely stick around for the full tour. And let us know in the comments what you think of the video. And if you want to see more content like this, then make sure you're subscribed. Back to it.
So my name is Fellipe Lopes. I'm from Brazil. I have been living in Ireland for the last almost 13 years. I came to this country to study English and to change a bit of scenarios and etc. And yeah, most recently I moved to this area where we are. I had a caravan before my container, and then I lived in the caravan for a little while, and then I got this container, which I call the Black Ship. And the Black Ship is my home. It's where I rest, it's where I relax, it's where I meet my friends, my partner, my dog, my cats, and etc. And I love it here. Yeah. I love it here. This is my home. I consider it as my home, but I was in a way forced to be in this situation. So I was living in the west of Ireland, and I ended up, you know, I was towards the end of a relationship, ended up losing pretty much everything. And then I moved to do my work, my humanitarian work, and I was in Greece for a while. When I went back, I was literally homeless. I didn't have anywhere to go. I didn't own any house. I don't own any property the way that we know. And a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine, invited me to be in his house for a few weeks and etc. while I was figuring out my next move. Luckily, and which is a lot of things in my life happens in this way, I met this lovely man, which is the owner of the farmer, and he invited me to stay here. The container came as an opportunity to have somewhere secure, safe to live, and where I can rest and etc. have my friends over, but also not really expensive to maintain. So when I go away, which is I do go away a lot, you know, the rent for the field, for the land, it's pretty little. I don't have all the expenses and etc., which allows me to travel, go away for 3 or 4 months and come back, maintain my house over here, do my work and come back and have a really lovely home sweet home for me. The container itself was about probably 15 plus what I built inside. So maybe 18,000 was the whole price of the container. These days, I pay a small fee to the farmer and to rent this piece of land, pretty much. My bills are quite cheap, like in comparison to anybody living in a major city, big time. This is the Black Ship, my shipping container house. This is my tiny plot that I have been living here for the last 3 years. Before the container, I had like a small, little tiny caravan that was on the site for another year and a half, and I have the container for the last almost 2 years. The reason why it called Black Ship is because that was probably one of my nicknames when I was growing up, and my mother, because the tattoos and blah, 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 blah. I was not really like the best student in school and things like that, so I was the black sheep of the family. My electricity is plugged on the grid of the farm. However, I don't consume a lot of electricity. As you guys are gonna see inside, I barely have electrical stuff. Everything that I run is either gas or from the stove. My water comes from the well that is actually there. You guys can see from over there. It's a water well. I never had any problem. I don't have any filters, anything like that. And this area over here is really well known for the kind of natural water springs. So here it's my gas shower, so pretty much like it's a gas cylinder that's kind of powers and heats up the water for my shower, and it's pretty effective in itself because it doesn't require any electricity, and that's the kind of I would say the boiler kind of thing. So I would say this is gonna last for like at least 1 year, if it's not more. This costs in Ireland 110 euros for the cylinder. So if you're talking about like having showers for 110 euros per year, that's pretty good. You know, in comparison to any electricity bill. This is the fuel of the stove that I have inside, and which is keeps giving me all the heat, you know, inside the container, which is extremely effective because it's such a small space. In addition to be really well isolated, I think I really paid attention for that. This pipe over here, as you guys can see, this is the septic tank of the farm, which is also off grid. So the farmer has a system that he collects all the business number 2 afterwards, and he uses that as a compost and etc. A lot of the things that I have here outside, and obviously mainly inside, I literally either found or was given to me, or I bought like secondhand and something like that. Most recently, I built this sort of decking, if I can call decking, but that I got as well. Like, you know, there's a lot of woods over here, trees that falls, unfortunately. And I just built, this was the old decking from my friend down the road he was replacing, get a new one. But for me, it was pretty good, and it does the job really well. Most of the things, as I mentioned, are either upcycling or secondhand or recycled. And yes, was one of the main things for a number of reasons. First one, for sure, was the sustainable impact. I didn't want to buy new stuff. But second, I didn't also have a lot of money to spend on that as well. So it was pretty good. This is actually the caravan, the miniature of my caravan that used to be exactly in the same spot before I got the container. Here I have the gas for the kitchen. I have the 3 cylinders there. And then over here, I have some sort of wood storage that I keep a lot of my logs and etc. That's gonna go to the stove, and I built this as well with pallets. Yeah, there I have a little compost bin that's, you know, not just me, but the guys in the farm, we put the stuff there, and we use that for compost in the farm. There is a small greenhouse over there that we all use it. I'm really lucky to have this view every morning. You know, I'm in the middle of nowhere, that I barely can hear any cars. I mean, sometimes I hear a tractor, which is a common occurrence over here, but in general, it's the most quiet place, and I love it. I'm a filmmaker and a photojournalist, and I work mainly on human rights and environmental issues. And my work, it's most recently are more connected to, you know, so-called the refugee crisis and the migration crisis. And I think, so I pretty much travel to places and etc. and I document, or I'm supporting an NGO organization on the ground that are providing some sort of work, legal, food or sheltering or whatever. And that's my work. The whole composition of the Black Sheep has to do with my story as, you know, as Fellipe Lopez, but also as my story as a professional working in the human rights fields. I think my favorite thing to live over here is the fact that my bills are quite small, and it is small. That's first. Secondly, I love small spaces, and it's cozy. I have a lovely stove that is always up and running. And also I like the fact that I am in the countryside, I am in nature. I'm surrounded by lovely walks and hills and woods, and I love that. For me, it's extremely important. That's where I definitely recharge my batteries, my personal batteries. I don't see major challenges. Obviously, you live in a metal box, and in a metal box, you find challenges that, you know, would happen. For example, you have to be literally on the top of your roof to make sure that there's no leaking. Then you have to make sure there is no mouses in the house, which is at the moment we do have a mouse somewhere here. We just can't find. But there is a mouse. It doesn't bother me. It's nature. It's not gonna eat me alive, so it's okay. There is challenges, but most of the time, the little, let's say, the little yokes, the little corks of the house, I actually am happy to fix and repair. But in general, I don't see a lot of challenges. Obviously, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'd love to have a second container. Maybe I can have a spare room, you know, when my parents come or my friends. I think the governments around the world, but mainly in the UK and in Ireland where I live, and I know a bit of the what's going on in the UK because my partner is from there. We spend a lot of time over there. I think there is some denial, first a denial that a housing crisis exists, and this is affecting people with low incomes, and that's across the board. That's a reality, and by somebody not having access to a house, and let's say a traditional, a normal, regular house, you put that family in a really, or that person in a really tough situation, because gonna end up like living, you know, in shelters or living sharing house with 3, 4, 6, 5 people, which is not ideal. So, and obviously the government wants to profit out of your house through taxes and etc., which is, in my understanding, is a mistake. It's clear that the system that we have at the moment in Ireland and in the UK, in Europe, in the US, whatever, it's failing, it's wrong. So by not giving literally the opportunity or the chance to somebody build your own house, yes, follow some regulations, safety and etc., fire stuff, yeah, obviously, but stopping people for building their own house, it's shallow, it's actually unfair to a lot of civilians that doesn't earn a lot of money. Most of the civilians in Ireland would earn a small salary and they will not have access to a mortgage so then they can buy a house and pay in 35 years. This is like a dirty game. It is a dirt game. I don't want to be part of it for a number of reasons, but the most important is just I don't want to give this money to anybody. Like, you know, I don't see the point. Now, yes, the government should realize that by allowing people and create legal routes so people can build their own house, either a ship container, a wood cabin, whatever it is, it should be possible. Stopping people and blaming people, which is something we see a lot, you know, like people build their own house, the government come and won't take away that house or shut it down. That's unfair. It's the house, it's where you live, it's where you feel protected. So it's a really unfair system that we are at the moment. And I think more and more people should push towards that, because what's the crime that people are committing? Allow people to live the way that they want to. I don't want to be part of a game of 35 years mortgage. I don't want to be part of that. So why should I be? Just because the law says? I don't agree with that. So, on that said, welcome to the Black Ship. This is literally the hallway, so that's where when you get in the container. This used to be a coffee table that somebody gave to me, and then this was my table in the caravan, and then from the caravan ended up coming here. So here I have some tea and some of my mugs over here. I love coffee. As a Brazilian guy, I love my coffee, so I always grind my own coffee. I have several little, like the French press, the Italian one, blah, blah. And then here it's where I try to cook, but who actually does cook really well is my partner, Kati. And I built this thing because I kind of like the cabin kind of style with things hanging. And then obviously my sink. I got this sort of like bookshelf to put some of, you know, granola and oats and things like that, which is really nice. And then obviously I have some little like storage there for food and stuff. Fridge. Here I have like a tiny little storage for things, and then I have my recycling bins, and here is the compost bin as well, as I showed you guys outside. This is probably the biggest kitchen I have had. Honestly, this is actually a proper kitchen size, to be fully honest. I don't feel that this is small. Small was in the caravan for sure, but here it's not small at all. That's perfect. It's bigger than the house I live in. And then over here, obviously, I don't have like a proper cupboard to store my clothing and especially my coats. So I hang everything here. Here's my tiny bathroom, which has got everything, got the shower and everything, and I can run my business, no problem. Still functional and works really well. As I said, I have a gas shower, which is amazing, honestly, because I mean, I don't spend a lot of money on electricity, or barely do. So these are things that I found on my travelings. This is from Amazon. This is to take rapé, and there is other things that regarding like indigenous and etc. So here it's my office table, and that's where I spend a lot of my time working and kind of chilling and etc. And I think this area, my working area, kind of gives a lot of the messaging and a lot of the information, the insights about me and about my work. I love it here. I actually love spending time over here, to be honest. But my favorite corner of the Black Ship is this little corner, definitely, for sure. This is my family that are in Brazil. And that's my mom, my dad, and my brother, and one of my cats. I have my record player, really enjoy music and etc., particularly Brazilian music. All my records are here. I have one of the hearts, probably the main heart of the Black Sheep, which is my lovely stove that keeps me, my partner, Nixie, the dog, and the tiger, the cat, really warm. And it is extremely effective. I don't have any radiator or oil or anything like that. So I get everything from that, and it does work. It's perfect. It's working right now, and it's really warm. And this is the living room. I have a really nice sofa bed, so when you have guests, as recently I had my parents, and now my brother is coming in a few weeks, so he's gonna sleep over there. There's not a lot of privacy, but who cares, you know? I have some books over here, and some like board games that Kat and we love playing board games in the evening, and etc. Some masks that I have, some of them, 2 of them I brought from Africa, but the others I kind of collected over time. And then this is my bedroom. I decided to build the bed really high up where it should be comfortable for me to be there, but most important, to have a bit of storage. So here is my bed. That's my cat, Tiger. Yeah, it's really warm because obviously the heat of the stove tends to go up. And so this kind of creates a little snuggle kind of thing, which is extremely cozy and comfortable. And I really like. And here I have some sort of like storage that I have my clothing and some like extra blankets and things like that. One thing as well that is nice to show is that most, I would say 99% of the wood that you see on the walls, on the floor, was either given to me or secondhand.
Is this a comfortable way to live the way you've got it?
Yeah, I love living here. It's extremely comfortable, it's warm, it's safe. And I genuinely love, like, that is something with this house. I say to Kat, I love traveling, and I do travel a lot, but I'm always like, I want to go home, I want to go home. And I have that desire to be at home because I genuinely love being here. I think I'm quite lucky and blessed in many ways, but particularly, you know, the community that I have around to allow me to, you know, have this place, my home over here. And yeah, I'm just grateful and happy with what I have and what I need, to be honest. I don't need more than that. I think there is something about trusting other people, like genuinely. There is a lot of, like, you know, fear and a lot of skepticism about, like, oh, how are we gonna live there? How are we gonna get a container and I'm gonna end up in that place and etc. The way that I did and the way that I feel should be done, you should connect with people around you, and literally, and like feel like, okay, I want to live in the countryside, I want to travel, and etc. Just do it. Talk to people, approach people. As I said, I was really lucky to meet those amazing friends down here, and that's a reality. Like, I have other friends living in different locations in a similar setting. So my advice is approach people, like, and be honest. And look, I would love like a little square of your land, and I have this plan. Just talk to people. Most of the people are willing to do that, and they are up for that. They don't see this as an issue. As you guys have seen it, I have a lot of things hanging in the container that tells the story, my story, tell the story of the work that I've been engaging with, the stories of the people that I met, that I'm luckily met on my journey, on my personal journey, yeah. So those things and the container itself, it's, you know, it's about me, it's about the work, it's about my journey. And on that, I invite people, if they're interested, to learn about my work, to visit my website, and to take a look. And if they want to engage, they want to partner in a project or something that are related to the things that I'm doing with my partner, etc., please reach out to. They'll be amazing. I'm always up for collaborations. I'm also a filmmaker as well, and etc. So there is always a space for that. So if you want to learn more about my work, you guys can visit my website. It's felipelopez.com, and also take a look on my partner's website, which is a blog travel, and she's always posting things. It's a really solid blog with a bunch of information of like traveling solo, and where to, you know, when you can get shelter and what to do and pay and do your travel really cheap. It's a really nice website. And how do I say, baby?
Walkabout Wanderer.
There we go. It's gonna be right probably down here as well. It's a really nice website, and yeah, that's all. I appreciate you guys watching the video, and I hope you guys enjoyed learning a little bit about me, about my dogs and my cats and the Black Sheep. And yeah, thank you very much.
All right guys, thanks for tuning in there. We've loved it here in Ireland, and a big thanks to Fellipe for sharing a story with us and showing us around.
Make sure to check Fellipe out on his website, the links will be down below, and let us know in the comments what you thought of the video, and if you want to see more content like this, then make sure you're subscribed. See you in the next one.